$24.50, not bad for 30 days. And on top of that, you're gonna, 30 days, you're gonna have you're gonna have 30 days to learn all the flagship strategies. And there's about, when you add the bearish side in them, I'd say there's 8 to 10 maybe, is all you have to learn. Now, there's a lot more strategies out there. I know that. These are the strategies that make sense to me. Pinball is one of them. Rounded bottom breakout's another. 3, trap is one. T-line bounce, T-line cross, PBOs, J hooks. These are all strategies we use. And anyway, 30 days to share them for $24.50. Grab one of those links. Love to see you there tomorrow. Hey, good evening, everybody. How you doing? This is Rick. I want to welcome to our public e-learning webinar tonight, where we're going to break down the pinball setup. Today's date is October 24th, 2023. Hello, Greg, Dicron, Ed, Fred, Rick, Like to Know, Dave, Ron, howdy. Glad everyone's here. Thank you so very much. And you guys all know I love questions, so during this webinar, please ask as many questions as you like. I am going to try really, 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 really hard to keep this under 1 hour. I'm still fighting a bit of a chest cold, and anything more than that, I just start, my voice and everything starts cracking. So I'm gonna try to do that, okay? First thing I want to do is I want to congratulate 5, 8, 9, how many? I better count them. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people. 9 people entered our contest on where the SPY is going to close today, and there were 9 winners. Now, what we did is we took the person that was closest, and then I ended up going 4 spots below and above. Gave a lot more people chances. So I'm not going to share their full names here because this is on a recording, but we'll send emails out to everybody, and they're going to receive a $25 Amazon gift card. The winner, Nathan, will receive more than that. The winners are William, Nadita, Carol, Mike, Nathan. Nathan was the closest. Dave, Kevin, I'm going to mess this one up, Shahari, maybe, and Dale. So you guys, if you're here in the room, you watch your emails. We'll get something sent to you tomorrow. It's just too late in the day to get it done today. And I'm excited to announce that we will be having another one of these contests. And tomorrow I hope to have we'll call it the email out, or the page, or whatever you want to call it, where you can sign up and pick where the SPY might close on the 7th of November. I know that's a long ways away, but you have till the 3rd of November to make your choice. Or if you make a choice before the 3rd of November, you can change it up to the 3rd, noon on the 3rd. Okay, so the 3rd is the deadline. The 7th will be the contest. We're going to do this contest a little bit different. We're going to be giving away Visa cards, I think. Also, something we're going to add to it is if somebody is to nail the close, and we even have talked about going a couple of pennies up or below. I don't care if it's below or above, but maybe a 2 penny leeway. You'll receive a $250 Visa card. So this is fun. This is exciting. It was, Rob. Yeah, it was really fun, and we've got a lot of ideas going forward, and so this is, we're building on it. This is going to be cool. I like this. This is a riot. Also, too, the only place you're going to be able to get the link is from our social media. I'm sorry for those that don't follow social media. Life is what it is. And I had a list of my social media links above in earlier. I'll certainly get them to everybody. That's not a problem. But there's YouTube, there's Twitter, or X now, I guess. There's Facebook, 2 Facebook pages, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So that's where you'll be able to get the sign-up page from, any one of those. Alrighty, let's get down to business here, breaking down the pinball setup. First thing I want to do is let's take a look at the market really quick, because this is Tuesday and we still have a few more days of trading, okay? So let's take a look at that. So far, the bulls are doing a pretty good job. They really are, all things considered. I mean, considering that they're in one heck of a downtrend, considering that there's nothing but bad news out there. Yes, Vern, this is being recorded. Yes, thanks for checking on me there. I appreciate that. Really do, because sometimes I forget that, hit that record button. So it looks like we came down, double bottom off the 500 period moving average. That's the black line right here. We had some follow through today. We had some follow through today. Let me whisper that. We had some follow through today. It's almost embarrassing to call this follow through, but it is follow through. I'm afraid with price below the T line and T line below the red dots, or what we call the trend indicator, red dots below the 50 period moving average, there is just nothing good about that. That is just not good for the bulls. You can't wrap this in a package. You can't put it in a bow. You can't do enough to make it good for the bulls. You just can't do it. I think a few things need to happen, like a reversal signal or pattern. A double bottom is not a reversal. It is not. It is just where price has come down, where price has been before. That's all it is. The trend is still down, so it's kind of hard to be long. On the other side, it's kind of hard to be short when we're so oversold here on this T2123. We are also, if we come look at this over here, the I said T2123 a moment ago. That was T2122. T2123, these are indicators on TC2000, by the way. The 60-minute is still very, very bearish. What it will look like if it's bullish, I don't even know if I can find one on that little, you can't make heads or tails out of it. But you see how green that is right there? That's what it looks like when it's bullish. And I'm afraid you just don't have anything yet. And nothing that is even looking like it at the close today. This is the same thing, but it's on a 15-minute time frame. And until that gets bullish, you got nothing. There's absolutely nothing as far as bullishness goes. So I've got the SPY up here, and here's stochastics up here, okay? And we are down, and you can see stochastics is over in the oversold condition. That makes it kind of hard to be short. This kind of makes it a little bit hard to be long. We are in a conundrum right now. We really, really are. So it's really tough for those out there beating the bush, trying to trade and hammer out something when just maybe an answer might be don't trade and just hammer on the money you've made. Count it if you want. It's just a thought, just an idea. Cash is a position. Okay, let's go back over here. Let's see earnings times. Let's see earnings times. SPY goes to 430, then 440. Nothing political. I don't know if that means anything good or bad, but nope, we don't do politics here. So nothing there. We don't know where it's going to go. Nobody can really tell you where it's going to go. Some of the contest numbers, some were maybe up here. Off the top of my head, I don't know the top number. And there was a number way, 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 way low. And you know what? I'll bet you $100 bill that we get to 440.86. I don't know what year, but I'll bet you we do. I'll bet you we get to 440.10 too. I don't know what year, but I bet you we do. So, saying we're going to go to 430 or 440, you're probably right. To Billy, you're probably absolutely right. The thing of it is when, and you can't blame it on anybody. We're just not going to do that in this room here. But you're probably right. We're probably going to go down or go up a little bit. 430? I think we're going to go up a little bit, and that gets us right into some resistance. And then, you know what? I think we're going to have to see proof before we get to 440 up there. Okay, we'll have to see proof up there. So right now, I just don't believe we have anything, so we want to be pretty careful. Okay, we'll take a quick look at IYT. You can see that there's nothing bullish there. SMH, you can see there's nothing really there. There's nothing that really is saying, hey, we're going to go up. The only catalyst that I can come up with, the only catalyst, the soonest catalyst that I can come up with is if the Republicans come to a decision, and the market may like that. The market may like that. So, all right, let's take a look at this rounded bottom breakout thing. What I would like to do here is go find a chart. What did I do with them? Oh, there they are. I would like to go find one, and then I would like to talk to you about it, and I want to tell you a little bit of a story. I said rounded bottom breakout, excuse me. Pinball setup. Pinball setup. The pinball setup is the strategy that took me from working full-time to trading full-time. This was the strategy that kicked everything off for me personally, okay? And it only came about after I blew my account up. It was a disaster, okay? So I had to come up with a way to trade because I wanted to trade so bad. Now, back in those days, I traded pretty much off the bottom, and I traded with stochastics. I no longer really use stochastics any longer. I just use the chart. I also never trade off the bottom any longer. And when I say never, 99.9% of the time, there's every now and then I'll take a bottom picker, but typically I don't. So what I did was, after a whole lot of trial and error, no trading, zero trading for a few months, I went through the charts. I put every indicator on a chart that I could come up with. And I mean every indicator, every moving average that anyone's ever talked about. Every indicator, stochastics, MACD, Bollinger Bands, you name it, everything. And what I would do is just flip through charts. And as I flipped through charts, I started just looking at the charts. Now, the key to that is no trading. That's the key, because if you trade, what happens is you lose what you're really doing. So what I did is I went through charts. I'll bet I went through thousands of charts in 3 or 4 month period, something like that. Thousands of charts. All day long, I still sat there in front of the computer, the normal trading hours. And all the normal trading hours, because I had a job that allowed me to do that. Well, after flipping through the charts, I would discover that a certain moving average, that has absolutely makes no sense on this chart. I would delete it. I would see an indicator that made no sense to me at all. Now, I want to share something about indicators for me personally, and I am not the guy that I'm not the guy that probably uses indicators correctly, okay? I'm not that guy. I didn't know it back then, but I was a price action trader. I was a candlestick trader, most definitely. I didn't understand that price action and candlesticks were pretty much the same doggone thing. And I didn't realize what price action was. I did not know that. The term price action never even crossed my lips. Candlesticks did, though. So what I would do is flip through these charts, and I would see a chart like this going up, and I would see an indicator maybe pointing down or doing nothing. And I'm one of these guys that the whole divergence sort of thing, I don't buy into that. I'm a short-term swing trader, and divergence doesn't matter on short-term swing trading. That is a longer term. I don't mean a lifetime, 6 months maybe, longer term than what I'm ever going to trade. That's what the whole divergence thing is about. It's not about short-term swing trading. So I would find an indicator that makes absolutely no sense at all. So I would delete that indicator. Bollinger Bands is a good example. And I'm going to pick on Bollinger Bands. So you've got a Bollinger Band up here, and or you know what? Here, let's do it in real life. You've got a Bollinger Band up here, the upper Bollinger Band, and I hear people say this all the time. We hit the Bollinger Band and pulled back. Now let me ask you, what come first, the chicken or the egg? We pulled back because of the Bollinger Band? I think not. I think not. And if you come up here and look, you'll find that there's resistance up there. Bollinger Bands make no sense to me. I'm not here to pick on Bollinger Bands. I'm just saying they made no sense at all if you're a price action follower, which I didn't understand price action back then. But what I did understand is what a simple trend will do. And what I did understand was the power of moving averages and how price is attracted to certain moving averages. Now, I didn't realize that when I started this project. I understood that the 50 simple and the 200 simple and the 20 simple are probably the three most popular moving averages in the entire world. I did realize that, mainly because people that's been trading a lot longer than me told me that, and I believed them. And I've got no reason to this day to not believe them. So I put up those moving averages, and I put up moving averages close to them. My chart looked like a mess. Well, over this, I don't know, this was 30 years ago. After 3 or 4 months or so, I've deleted and cleaned my charts up pretty good. I've gotten rid of everything that made no sense. If the chart went up, I better see an indicator it goes up. If the chart went down, I better see an indicator that goes down. I needed to see something that worked with the chart. At this point, I still did not know what price action was. I didn't realize that's what I was doing, following price action. So, okay, let's end this story and let's start with it, okay? What I discovered was the T-line. That's about the time where I discovered the T-line and the power of the 8 exponential moving average. This is the original where I started with the T-line. The 34 EMA right here, that orange one, that's the original. Those are the only 2 original moving averages that I still use on a chart to this day, not counting the 50 or the 200, okay? But those 2 were the original, the black line and the orange line to the pinball setup. Now, so what I figured out, what I could see in charts. Now, keep in mind, my focus was always down here because that's all I ever knew. I never, ever traded anything else. I didn't know this. I was taught candlesticks, stochastics, in and oversold, coming out of oversold. I was taught this. Well, what I figured out was basically that's bottom picking. And since it's the only thing I knew, I had to figure out a way to make it work. So with the T-line up there, what I found out is when price jumped up over the T-line, it seemed to make its way up a little bit. Now let's think about this. These charts are all in a very oversold condition. The T-line is below the 34 EMA, the 34 is below the 50, and the 50 is below the 200. We want this thing to be pitiful. The more pitiful it is, the better the chart is. We want it absolutely pitiful. We want it in a downtrend. We want people to say, oh man, that thing's going to zero. That right there is the chart I want to look at. The chart that everyone says, that is garbage. That's what I want. And here's why. When charts are down low and they start moving up, you're going to attract buyers. That is just the way the market works. That is pure greed is what that is. So if you figure out what it is, now use it to your advantage, okay? I apologize. I can tell my voice is getting louder and it's just getting harder to talk, so I'm trying to push it out, okay? So I apologize for a little louder voice here. So anyway, it's just pure greed. Now, the reason it's called a pinball setup, now I'm not the brightest tool in the shed. I got to tell you that. I'm really not. Here's what I figured out. Price would go up to the 34 EMA, and I'll be doggone if it doesn't pull back a lot of times. Now, in this particular case, it didn't. But a lot of times what will happen is they'll pull back. Well, I'm not, like I said, I'm not too bright. I would buy the chart. I would make really good money. And this is, by the way, this is back when I only trade stocks, absolutely no options whatsoever. So I would be in this. Do you think I would take profits? Oh, no, because there's no candlestick sell signal from there, for God's sakes. And even if there was some sort of little hiccup right in there, do you think I would take profits? No, I wouldn't. I had to learn the hard way. And doggone thing would move back, and I would lose 10, 20, 15, sometimes 20% on a stock trade because I didn't have the God-given sense to take my money off the table, put it in my pocket, and call it a day. Well, this went on for a little while, and then I thought, you could sell it. Let's just use the 34 for fun and see what happens. Price would go up, I would sell it, I would pocket 10%, 15%, 20% in some cases. That is how I made my bones back then. And this is the chart pattern that took me from working for somebody, which it was a really good job, and going from, that job to working full-time in stock trading. So, Shazam, here we are. So what I'm looking for, what I like to see is about 10, I say about, okay? Nowadays, I trade an awful lot of options. So if I see something with options and it's only 5%, I'll take it. But truthfully, I would rather have this 10% or even more. Let's go back to the oversold and greed part of things. When we are so oversold and people are greedy, and they are, make no mistake of it. You, me, everybody, we're greedy. That's why we're here. That's why you go to work. You're greedy. You want a paycheck. You want a new boat. You want food on your table. I don't know. But that's why you go to work. It's greed. We want stuff. We like stuff. Okay? So, forgot where I was. Oh, yeah. You get this oversold, greedy relief rally going on. Please make no mistake. This chart is in a downtrend. When we're back here looking at it. Okay, I'm just going to connect to the 50 period moving average right there. We are in a downtrend. Make no mistake of that. Nobody is saying anything about OTLK. I know that's a 55 center, but don't worry about the pennies. Worry about the chart. Is that going to $10? Is that going to $20? I don't know, nor do I care. That is not my goal here. Is it going to $60? I don't know, nor do I care. All I care about is collecting my money from here to here. That's all I care about. That's right there. And we're talking on this particular chart, we're talking 47%. So I'm telling you, it's doable. Okay? It is doable. Now, believe me, I had to learn the hard way. But once I did, what would happen, and this is how it got its name, the pinball setup. We would move up, I would sell it, and it would move back, and I'll be doggone if it didn't do it again. You see where I got the pinball set up? You know, if you can imagine yourself on a pinball machine and the flippers, the buttons on the side, and you're flipping, just flipping that ball back and forth. That's all you're doing. Flipping that ball back and forth in a bearish downtrend, greedy relief rally. That's all you're doing. Okay? Bearish downtrend, greedy relief rally. That's all it is. Now, let's go look at another chart. Everybody's probably tired of looking at that one. Look at this B flight here. I happen to like this. Now, they're not all 95 centers. I guess I should find one. This is RTX. Look at that, $72. This is not a pinball setup here. It is not. However, it is right here. It is right here. So here we pop up. There's your pinball setup. And, you know, maybe you don't buy this day right here. Maybe you buy the next day or the next day. This might be the best day. So what happens is we run up, and it's only 3%, but at $72, you're going to trade options would be my guess. But at that 3%, that's a 10% trade on the option, hands down. Absolutely hands down. Here is boom, boom, boom. Flow. Look at Flow. That's a $21 stock. So let's look at Flow. Here we are moving down. Here we are, we rally up. We come back down. We've got a morning star signal, right? Now, I'm going to put this up here just so I know what it is. Now, this is only 4.5%. But on a $20 stock, you might be buying options on this. If you buy options, this is going to be a 10-15% trade. If you're trading the stock, here's a news flash for stock traders, okay? If you can pull 4, 5, 6% out of short-term swinging, short-term trading stocks, you are a pretty darn good stock trader. You are really good. So don't, you know, a lot of times you hear people trading options. Oh man, I just made 30, I made 40%, I made 100%. You know what? Those kind of numbers, they're not trading stock, they're trading options. If you're trading stock, 4% is nothing to cry about. It is not. You can't get that kind of money in a bank. You can't get that. In fact, the only place you can get that kind of money, the downside to whatever it is you're going to jail. So there's nothing wrong with it. Do not be ashamed of 4.5%, 5% trades. Believe me. The other ones will come. The other ones will come. Here is MKC. Whoops. All day long, my mouse has been just goofy. Here's MKC. There's a 12% trade right there. Again, don't be bashful. Don't be ashamed. Don't be, don't worry about it. You're good. Let's talk about this. Here we're down, we rally up, and we punch back down. So you can clearly see we have a double bottom here. You can clearly see, sorry, my mouse is really weird. It's done this all day to me. Down, up, down. You see the bullish W pattern? These things are important. We want to see that the bulls are telling the bears to get the hell out of there. That's what we want to see. And that's what this chart pattern is telling us. The bulls are standing up. They're telling the bears, go home, is what they're doing. Now, it doesn't always mean the bears go home, because this strategy is not 100% perfect. It's like all strategies. It has its flaws. But right now, that's looking pretty darn good to me. Looking really, really good. So what I'm going to do, well, I'm going to back up here. I'm going to put this little moving average up here. Let me show you something. Years ago, it was actually the 2 EMA right there. So the 2 EMA had to cross the T-line. Moving average crossovers is a bonus. That's a real thing. That is a real thing, and that is a bonus. Never underestimate a moving average crossover. So we've got a bullish W pattern, you've got a double bottom, and here you've got a moving average crossover. So I'm going to move this over so I have a little more room. There we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to want to buy this pretty much in this area right here. And it's okay. I can buy it a little bit lower than the T-line as long as it closes over the T-line the next day. So let's say tomorrow. Let's just say tomorrow. Say tomorrow we get below the T-line. T-line is the 8 exponential moving average. That's a black line for those that don't know. And I buy it, but the rule is going to have to be at the end of the day, it's got to close over the T-line. That has to be the rule. If it doesn't, I don't want it, because the reality is that trend is still intact, isn't it? Below the T-line is bearish. Look at that. It doesn't lie to you. And if we get below the T-line, we're just coming back to where it's been. It's very comfortable underneath there, evidently. Very, very comfortable. It's out of its comfort zone right now. But I'd be willing to take that trade, like I said, even down here, but it has to close above. Now, what I'm looking at is for this thing to rally up toward the 34 EMA. Now, I want to stop for a second. And I'm going to share something with you. I'm going to put a line right here, and we'll just call this 6%. Okay? If price was to move up 6%, I don't care if you just have 2 contracts. Sell half of it. Don't be a hero. Don't be one of those greedy traders that get slaughtered. Don't do it. Sell half. I don't care if you have two contracts. I don't care if you have 2 shares. Sell a half. Take your money. Be a profit taker. Okay? You can allow the second half to run as long as you don't get a sell signal. There's absolutely no guarantee it's going to go up there. Certainly not in the time frame that you would like it to go up there. It could very much go here, pull back a little bit, and that's gonna ruin your day. It will, I promise you. You guys all know that. And then it could just kind of bebop around for a little while and then move up. Well, if you sell half, maybe you still have half the position. If you sell it all and it pulls back, you can get back in it. Never be afraid to get back in to a position. All right. Now I want to talk about this little crossover here. Back in the day, we used the 2 EMA. Today, I don't use the 2 EMA. I use the 3. And the reason is, whoop, that must not be it. Did I? Nope, that was right. There we go. The reason is the 2 is too fast. I discovered it was too fast. I like the 3 better. It's a little slower, a little easier on the eyes. Doesn't jerk all over the place. So that's what I would like to see. And we're really, in fact, if you look hard enough, we are ever so slightly over the T-line right here. Tomorrow, if this stock even opens up, all it's got to do is open up inside this candle, and that 3 will be clearly above the T-line. In fact, we can open up down here, and that 3 will go above the T-line. So you'll just learn to know that. Don't take my word for it. Watch a few charts. You'll see. The moving averages are following, and right now it's still following this candle. When the other candle gets put in, it's not yet following this candle. It may be getting a little whiff of it, but nothing to change it. So it's still going to be following this candle. So it's going to be up above there. The only way it won't be is if, we totally open up down here maybe, and that could drive it down, certainly by the end of the day. Anyway, that's for sure. So again, a little bit of a recap. I would like to see 10% or more. The more oversold it is, the greedier people will get. Now remember, this is nothing more than a relief rally in a 1,000% downtrend. There are no illusions that McCormick is going to make the best seasoning in the world and this is going to be a $100 stock. Someday it could be, but not with this strategy. That's not what we're looking for. Okay. Let me find another one. There's a couple in here that look awfully damn good. Look at this. Now, let's stop for a moment, okay? The charts I'm looking for, they're all ripe for future trading. They are all ripe for that. Meaning tomorrow, this next week, they are all set up there. Here's the thing. If the market is not in your favor, you're playing with fire. If the market is not working for you, you are likely to get crushed. So just because we're looking at what I think are some pretty hot looking pinball setups does not mean they deserve to be traded tomorrow or Wednesday or Thursday or even next week. If the market does not perform, I'll give you an example of what I mean by perform. The 15-minute on T2123 is still horribly bearish. The 60-minute is still horribly bearish. This is not a good sign, and it does not matter what bullish pattern you're looking at. This is just not a good sign. So we need this to work with us, okay? So keep that in mind. Just because you have now some people don't trade down here in the bottom. And I want to talk about this one again. This is nice. I know that some people won't even entertain that trading down there. But those that do, don't get yourself excited. Wipe your chin off, let the market be on your side. More will come up. All right. Now, let's take a look at this chart. Momentum is one of the keys, I think, to swing trading. Picking a bottom, you have no momentum. That's why bottom picking actually kind of sucks, okay? That's why bottom picking, the ultra greedy will go after the ultra bottom thinking that they can make more money. Here's the thought. If you were to buy DDD and you were to move up here and you've got a 10% trade, here's what happens. Somebody's going to look at this chart, and this is being recorded. And so over a year's period of time, there might be a couple thousand people look at this recording. And I'll bet you here's what some people do. I know this. I've done this. I've been around too long. I know, okay? So they see the trade, and all of a sudden they think 10%. Holy cow. There's a morning star signal. I've learned about morning star signals. Man, if I bought this right here, up there, then there it is right there. Man, I could have a 16.5, 17.5, maybe an 18% trade. Holy Toledo, I'm going to start looking for charts down here. Here's the problem. I'm showing you a hand-picked cherry chart. That's the problem. So over the next year, if you, not you guys, but somebody, I'm talking to the person out there watching this video, a year from now, if you watch this video, if you pull this kind of stunt, you're going to get burned. And here's why. This is a cherry-picked chart. Number one, if this was not, and it's cherry-picked because it's a pinball setup today, okay? If this was, if we were looking at it for the first time right here, this chart would not be very good. Now, I know it worked out, but it only worked out because we looked for charts that worked out. All right? So, bottom picking stinks. It does not work. It will bury you. So take the greed, go check it at the door. Get smart about charts. Look how the 3 crossed over the T line. You've got momentum here. That's what you want. Now, we fell down right here. There's no question about it. It's like, darn it, this chart, it didn't work out, did it? All of a sudden today, what in the world happened? Take a look at that faster moving average. It dipped below the T-line and came right back up. I love that. I absolutely adore that. That is fantastic. You've got momentum here. And as far as I'm concerned, we're still on the bottom. We're still there, okay? So what we want now is, where I want to buy this is something like this right here. I want to take today's candle and do something like that. And in here is where I'd like to buy it. Now, an exact price, I can't tell you that because I don't trade that way. Okay, I don't trade that way. I don't trade with the idea that at 440 or 441, I'm going to buy this. No, I don't trade that way. I wait for a candlestick. I wait for price action. I wait to be alerted. I use live trading alerts for that. So I'm going to wait for that. And if I get the alert, then I'm going to buy it. I mentioned this the other day in the trading room, that I'm not the guy ever that's going to get the bottom dollar. I'm never that guy. I'm always going to get the dollar that's up here. Somebody else might get this dollar here, and that's great. You know, that's great. But on 10%, you know, I could probably make a good 7%, and I'm perfectly happy with that. Again, the only other place for you to make 7% on your money, the downside is you're going to jail if you get caught. It's the only other place. So that's pretty good money right there. That's a nice chart setup. That's a really nice chart setup. Let's see, $2 billion. Dollars is coming. Yeah. Let's take a look at, here's one for the option traders, SQ, okay? This is one for the option traders. And when I say the option traders, if you look at that, there's only 6%, all right? Only 10%. And crew, 4 incomes. I know 7. Are you the one that lives in Fairbanks? I don't recognize your name here. And you're right, 4 a.m. did come early, yes. Yeah. We have a member here that lives in Fairbanks. We've shared emails back and forth a couple times. Anyway, sorry. But for you option traders, you know, SQ, $45 stock, this might be one to take a look at. You know, 6% trade up there. That's not bad. Or something like that. Where did I get 6% from? Maybe from here. 5%, something like that. So look how we popped up. And believe me, they fail. Oh, yeah. That reminded me of something I was going to mention to you. Patience. Patience is the key to trading. You think you have to learn candlesticks? You know what? Spend 2 months reading books. You've learned everything you could possibly learn about candlesticks. Dedicate 2 months to nothing but candlesticks. Nothing else. Don't trade. Nothing else. Don't pet your dog. Don't do nothing else. 2 months, just focus on candlesticks. You'll learn everything you need to know about candlesticks. The pinball setup. Take this pinball setup, watch this video 20 times. Don't do anything else. Don't pet your dog. Don't eat. Don't do anything. Just watch this video 10 times. You'll learn everything you need to know about the pinball setup. Okay? Learn it and then trade it. Let me share something with you. Find this spot in the video and watch this over and over and over. Okay? Patience. Now, I need to back up a little bit. The hardest thing in the world is patience. The easiest thing in the world is to figure out what all this stuff means in the chart. All it takes is a little bit, focus on the words, little bit of time. Put the trading down, and focus a little time, just time, on some of these flagship setups like the pinball setup, the rounded bottom breakout, the 3-8 trap, T-line bounces, T-line crosses, things like that, both bullish and bearish. Focus on those, and then go trade your little heart out. But you can't do both. You can't trade and learn at the same time. It doesn't work that way. I wish it did, but it doesn't. Here's a little tip I'm going to give you. Again, watch it in the video. It'll be somewhere around 43 minutes and 58 seconds, somewhere around there. You see how we pop up? I can't teach you this. I cannot teach you this. Patience. I can't teach you that the first time we take off, more times than not, you're going to get a pullback. Sometimes the pullback is ugly. Sometimes the pullback is not so ugly. The first time, be cautious. You'll be tempted, but be careful. You'll be tempted, but have patience. Have patience. Let it work out. The longer the bottom, the better the chart is. And if you look at this chart, there's the bottom. We pretty much went down and went up. That's a red flag for something is not going to work out your way. Okay? That is a red flag. Something is not going to work out your way. Not at all. That is a red flag that the sellers don't have what it takes to keep it up. Let it work itself out. Wait for the next setup. Here's one right here. Morningstar. We're back over the T-line. Let's see if we can't get another running start at it and see what happens up there, okay? So that is a good trader's tip right there. Take my word for it. Nope, don't take my word for it. Study the charts. Study the charts. Let's see. A couple questions up here. And by the way, this is a good time to ask some questions so I can keep this at my time frame. Okay, so if anyone has any questions, please jump out there, okay? Let's take a look at Hood. Hood is pretty good. I like Hood, but I don't like Hood for a pinball setup. And the reason is I want an absolute downtrend. I want a bona fide downtrend. And that downtrend is the definition of the downtrend for the pinball setup is I want the 50 period moving average below the 200. I want the 34 below the 50. And I want the T-line below the 50. Here's a great looking chart right here. Look at TMF. Look at that bad boy, 15% to the 34 up there. So I want to repeat what I just said. All right. I want the 200 period moving average. I want the 50 to be below it. I want the 34 to be below the 50. And I want the T-line to be below the 34. And in a perfect world, I want 10%. Sorry, that's so big. I didn't change it. Something like that. 10% between here and here. That's a perfect world for me. 7% is not a perfect world, but you know what? I'm not going to turn that bowl of ice cream down. Okay? So anyway, TMF I think is a hot, super looking chart going forward. Let's see here. Did I miss? Oh, hi, Rick. Hey, Frank. I would not take this trade because of its resistance. I don't know what trade you speak of. Without the ticker, I don't know. Carmen, do many of these pinball charts later set up to be rounded bottom breakouts? Aha! Carmen. Carmen's listening. Thank you very much, Carmen. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. They very much turn out to be rounded bottom breakouts. This is where they start, down in this area. Man, this is where a lot of them start, okay? They started down here in the pinball area or in the oversold pick-me a bottom. They come up here into the pinball setup, and then they rally up, and they will pull back. They will set up again before they get to the 50. And then, boom, they start popping over the 50 for that rounded bottom breakout. Great catch. Thank you for mentioning it, okay? A little side note, the rounded bottom breakout, it took me years to figure that out. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not the brightest tool in the tool shed. Not at all. You would think that over the years, it would have dawned on me that, you know what, you can take this. I did not do the second one, my mouse. I could take the pinball setup and why not move it the same strategy, move it up here to the 50-period moving average with the 200 as the target. Aha! It took me a long time to do that, to figure that out. I don't know why, but it's literally the same strategy. It's just two different sets of moving averages is all it is. Frank says SQ. Let's go look at that. Now, Frank, remember what the pinball setup is. You're saying resistance. I've got no idea where your resistance is. We're not looking for some magical trade. This is a bearish, downtrending trade. This is nothing more than a 5-6% trade. If you're looking for an which I'm guessing it would be an option, square, $50, I'm guessing an option. That is a 10 to 15% trade on the options. If you buy 10 contracts, that's a bucket of money. If you buy 5 contracts, that's a bucket of money. That's more than you're going to get anywhere else. And if you got it somewhere else, you're going to go to jail if you get caught. So this is a win to me. I do not disagree with you about resistance being higher. In fact, I wouldn't dream of holding this above the 50-period moving average. It would have to set up completely again. But I wouldn't dream of holding this over $50, okay? So totally agree with you if that's, above somewhere up here anyway. Let's see. What about plug? Let's go take a look at plug. Well, Yuri, are we talking about pinball setups? Or are you talking about plug in general? I'll come back to your answer, okay? Yes what? Yes in general or yes pinball setups? And I'm going to grab a drink while you type pinball. All right. What have we just learned? What have we just learned this hour? Is this a pinball setup? Yes or no? What have we been doing for the past hour? The answer is no, it's not. Okay, there you go. Thanks, Chris. I'm sorry. I mean, it's really simple. It's extremely visual. Let's look at NEP. Let's look at NEP here. Price has to be above the T-line. The T-line has to be below the 34. The 34 has to be below 50, which you got that one right. But the price has to be above the T-line. There is no maybes. There is no almost. There is no, well, it could be. There is no, I'm predicting. This is, the beauty of this is it's extremely visual. The beauty of this is you can scan for it, super simple. The beauty of this is it's built in everything for you. For instance, where do we want to buy it? I want to buy in this area right here. I'll buy in that area right there. Where's your stop? Sorry, we should have talked about that earlier. If we close below the T-line, that's my stop. Now, I'll buy it below the T-line a little bit, but if it closes below the T-line, I don't want it. That's the reason I like it. Okay? That's the reason I like it. So it's a no-brainer. Your biggest problem will be patience. That will be your biggest problem. Your biggest problem will be saying, man, I'm going to climb into this when the market is still being a booger. Hello, Jim. It's been a long, long time, sir. How you doing? Thanks for shouting out here. Appreciate it, okay? So patience will be the killer of everybody. Patience. The chart set up here is extremely mechanical. Extremely mechanical. Very easy to set up, very easy to spot, very easy to scan for. In fact, Jim there, are you still sending out pinball lists? Let me see if Jim is. Jim was doing that for the longest time. I don't know if he still is. Anyway, the problem will be waiting for everything to set up. The market is one of the big killers. The market right now is still bearish. There is nothing bullish about the market. That T2123 is still in bearish mode. So I happen to think this looks absolutely beautiful. And it very well may jump right up there. The problem is the market is not on your side, and that is where you will run into trouble rushing into trades, okay? So patience. Outside of that, this is a very mechanical, very, very mechanical trade. Very easy. Okay, any last questions? And thank you, Yuri. I hope I helped you. I hope I helped you there, okay? I really do. Once the price is above the T line, aim for 10%, which should be around the 34, is what I understand. Correct, Chris, but you've got to scan for charts that have 10%. So, if you say square, for instance, that's only a 5%er. So shooting for 10% is not going to work out. But if you scan for trades, this one might be, I don't know if this one is or not. Let me check it. Yeah, this is a 15%er. So if you scan for trades, then what happens is you can work with that 10%. Yes, you can work with it. In fact, if you just said, look, I'm going to take money off at 10%, and you don't care if it's below the 34, I would admire your trading forever. Absolutely forever. All right. That's another nice trade. Look at that bottom. This is I'm going to call this a cradle pattern here. Let me change my thing here. Green. Cradle pattern is when you have a down move. Now I know that's 3 bars, but it's still down. And then you have an up move, and then you have that bed right in here. This is one of the chart patterns that is coined and I'm going to say created by Mr. Steve Bigelow, the late Mr. Steve Bigelow. Right here is the cradle pattern. This is setting up very nice. I like this. I like this a lot. So I know some people don't like biotechs. Not everything on here is biotechs. I get that. I know that some people don't really get excited about $7 stocks. It seems like we have turned into a bit more of expensive stock, looking for more expensive stock. I know that, probably due to me moving to more options is what it amounts to. This strategy here does produce a lot of lower price stocks for those folks that have to trade lower price stocks or just want to. If you don't do biotech, that's fine. Just don't trade the biotech stocks. Doesn't mean you have to, okay? Here's one that this is not, Pepsi. This is not going to be a 10%er, but it certainly is going to be a good quality chart. Pepsi, come on. It only represents 3.5% right now. This is going to be an option trade. Option traders know, one, that Pepsi's probably going to be a good bet. Whether or not that bet is right now that I can't tell you, but overall, Pepsi's going to be a good bet. Traders that's been around a while and do trade options and higher price, they'll tell you that, hey, $167 stock, 3 to 3.5% stock price, stock profit, 10% on the option. That's good money, man. I got to tell you, that's rocket ship money right there. ABCL, there's another one setting up, and it doesn't look like a lot. I don't know what this is. Ooh, that's not a lot, is it? Holy moly. I wouldn't touch this one with a 10-foot pole. Oh, no. Okay. Oh, that's better. I had it wrong. That's a 7%er. Okay. So anyway, thanks, Chris. Appreciate your comment there. Okay. Cleared up a few things maybe. Anything else? And then we're going to call it a night. And I'm going to accomplish my 1 hour. I noticed Ed posted up there a couple of times the 30-day trial. For anyone that's still here or still listening, $24.50, not bad for 30 days. And on top of that, you're gonna, 30 days, you're gonna have you're gonna have 30 days to learn all the flagship strategies. And there's about, when you add the bearish side in them, I'd say there's 8 to 10 maybe, is all you have to learn. Now, there's a lot more strategies out there. I know that. These are the strategies that make sense to me. Pinball is one of them. Rounded bottom breakout's another. 3, trap is one. T-line bounce, T-line cross, PBOs, J hooks. These are all strategies we use. And anyway, 30 days to share them for $24.50. Grab one of those links. Love to see you there tomorrow. For those that were the winners on the contest, we'll get something done for you tomorrow. Watch your email. If you don't get your email, we can look in the back end. We may give you a call, okay? Make sure you get it. We'll get something sent out, hopefully tomorrow. I'm crossing my fingers. So you can start looking for next time, which will be November 7th. November 7th will be the next contest. That's going to be a little bit bigger, a little bit better. And if anyone here has any ideas that you would like to see how the contest might go, share them with me. Send me an email. We're open for ideas. We've gotten a lot of them. So right now we're in the early stages. We can make all the changes in the world. So I'm going to look for you guys to help out. Anyway, thank you so very much. Ron, it will not be posted tonight. It will be tomorrow. I'll have it posted on YouTube, and I will send you a link to the YouTube video, okay? I'm just not going to make it tonight. So thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate it. Thanks for being here. We'll see you tomorrow in the trading room, okay? Take care. Have a great evening.